The kingdom of my divine will in the midst of creatures. Book of Heaven, Volume 30, Part 13. May 15th, 1932. How the knowledges on the divine will shall form the eye and the capacity in order to look and to receive the gift of the divine Fiat, and shall accustom the creatures to live as its children. Chaos of the human will. I am always back in the supreme Fiat, and feeling in me the sweet enchantment of its light, of its peace, of its happiness. Oh, how I wish that the whole entire world would know a good so great, so that all may pray for its kingdom to come upon earth. But while I was saying this, I thought to myself, if the living in the divine will is a gift that he must give to the human generations, and Jesus so much loves, wants, longs for this divine will to be known in order to let it reign, why then does he not hasten to give this gift? And my highest good Jesus, visiting my little soul, all goodness, told me, my daughter, you must know that even though I burn with the desire to see my divine will reign, yet I cannot give this gift. Not before the creatures, with the truths that I manifested, as they come to know them, have the great good of forming the sight in order to be able to comprehend it, and therefore dispose themselves to receive a gift so great. It can be said that the eye, in order to see, and the capacity, in order to comprehend it, is now missing. And therefore, first I manifested many truths on my divine will. And as the creatures come to know these truths of mine, they shall form the eye socket in which to place the pupil, and animate it with sufficient light to be able to look at and comprehend the gift, which more than sun shall be given and entrusted to them. If I wanted to give it today, I would act as if I wanted to give a son to a blind man. Poor one, with all the sun given to him, he would always be blind. Neither would his lot change, nor would he receive any good. On the contrary, he would have a sorrow, having a son as gift, without even seeing it or receiving its beneficial effects. On the other hand, one who is not blind, how many goods would he not receive? Having a son as gift, at his disposal, would be his perennial feast, and he would place himself in the condition of giving light to others, and would be surrounded and loved by all, in order to obtain the gift of the light that he possesses. So, to give today the gift of my divine will, which more than sun shall change the lot of the human generations, would be like giving it to the blind. And to give it to the blind would be like giving them useless gifts, and useless things I know not how to give. Therefore, I wait with divine and delirious patience, that my truths may make their way, prepare souls, enter into them, and form the eye, animated by sufficient light, that they may not only look at the gift of my Fiat, but have the capacity in order to enclose it within them, so that it may form in them its kingdom, and extend its dominion. Therefore, patience and time allow things to be done as is befitting, and as our sovereignty deserves in operating. We, our Supreme Being, act as a father would, who wants to give a great gift to his little son. The father calls the little one and shows him the gift, saying to him, "This gift is prepared for you. It will indeed be yours." But he does not give it. The son remains surprised, captivated, in seeing the gift that his father wants to give him, and remaining around the father, he pleads with him to give him the gift, and he is unable to detach from him. He pleads and pleads again, for he wants the gift. Meanwhile, the father, seeing him around, takes the opportunity in order to instruct the son, so as to make him comprehend the nature of the gift, the good, the happiness that he will receive from this gift. At the manifestations of the Father, the Son becomes mature and capable not only of receiving the gift, but of comprehending what good, what greatness is enclosed in the gift he must receive. Therefore, he draws closer around the Father. He pleads and pleads again. He longs for the gift. He reaches the point of crying and can no longer be without the gift. It can be said that, with his pleas and yearnings, by acquiring the knowledges of the gift that his Father has given him, he has formed within himself the life, the space, in which to receive the gift as in a sacred deposit. This delaying of the Father to give the gift to his Son has been a greater love. He burned, he longed to give the gift to his Son, but he wanted him capable and able to comprehend the gift he was receiving. And as soon as he sees him mature to receive so great a good, immediately he gives it to him. So we do. More than Father, we long to give the great gift of our will to our children, but we want them to know what they must receive. The knowledges of it mature our children and render them capable of receiving so great a good. The many manifestations I have given shall be the true eyes of the soul, to be able to look at and comprehend what our paternal goodness has been wanting to give for many centuries. More so, since the knowledges I have manifested on my divine will, as they become known by creatures, shall cast into them the seed, in order to make filial love germinate toward their celestial Father. They shall feel our paternity, and that if he wants them to do his will, it is because he loves them and wants to love them as his children, so as to share his divine goods. So our knowledges on the divine fiat shall make them accustomed to living as our children, and then will every marvel cease that our Supreme Being is giving the great gift of our will to his children. It is a right of the children to receive the properties of their father, and it is a duty of the father to give his goods to his children. One who wants to live like a stranger does not deserve the possessions of the father. More so, since our paternity yearns, longs, burns with the desire to give this gift, so that one may be the will with his children. Then, yes, will our paternal love rest when we see the work that came out of our creative hands on the lap of our will, in our house, and our kingdom populated by our dear children. After this, I continued to think about the divine will. It seems to me that I cannot be without thinking about it. And my celestial teacher added, "Blessed daughter, all the acts that my divine will does are so bound to one another as to be inseparable, in such a way that if one wants to find them, at first sight one finds one act alone, but upon entering deeper inside, one finds many acts, one distinct from the other, though fused and bound together, so much so that they cannot be detached. This force of union and of inseparability forms the nature of the divine operating. The very creation says it. If even just one star could detach from its place, in which it is connected with all other created things, it would fall, and would cause general chaos in all other created things. So great is the inseparability and union that they have. Altogether, they all have life, though they are distinct among themselves, and they form the beautiful harmony of all creation. Once separated, it can be said that they lose life and cause chaos everywhere. Such is the human will separated from the will of its creator. Not only does it itself fall, but it keeps causing chaos everywhere. And if it could, it would turn everything upside down, even the very order of its creator. Nor is there anything to be surprised about. The human will was created by us, and separated from our own, would be like a star detached from its place, in which it possessed divine strength, the union in common accord, and with all the good of its creator. By detaching itself, it loses the strength, the union, and the goods in order to live. Therefore, by necessity, it has the lot of falling and of causing chaos everywhere. Now, with the living in my divine will, as the soul does her first act, she feels the strength and the union of all the acts of the divine Fiat. So, one act includes and encloses all other acts, and she feels the need to continue her acts in order to be linked with them, so as to unfold the strength of the divine will that she feels within herself, which, as life, cannot be without making itself felt. It wants to breathe, palpitate, operate. One act calls for another, and in this way she forms the sequence of acts with the union of the acts of my will, in order to form a life. One act, one breath, one heartbeat are not enough. No, but it takes the continuous breathing, palpitating, and operating. And as the soul lives in my divine will, she lets it breathe and palpitate, and my fiat forms its entire life of works, as much as it is possible for a creature to enclose within herself. Therefore, if you want its life in you, let your acts be continuous in it. Fiat. May 22nd, 1932. Delightful scenes that the soul forms for her Creator. The divine will shall give to the creature the gift of infused knowledge, which shall be like a divine eye for her. My poor mind swims in the immense sea of the divine will. In this sea, one murmurs continuously. But what does one murmur? Love, praise, thanksgivings. And the Supreme Being comes to meet the murmurings of the creature with his own, and he gives love to receive love. What a sweet encounter between the Creator and the creature, giving love to each other. And in this exchange of love, waves of love, of light, of indescribable beauties are formed, by which the poor creature, incapable of enclosing them all within herself, feels drowned. And while she has taken, who knows how much, the drowning that she feels prevents her from being able to repeat what she feels within herself of the ineffable secrets of love, of light, of divine knowledges, which the murmuring of the Eternal One has enclosed in her soul. But while I was wandering amid so many knowledges as to be incapable of repeating anything, I feel I am stammering. I lack the right terms, and in order not to speak nonsense, I move forward. And my lovable Jesus, compassionating my incapacity and littleness, clasped me to himself in his arms and told me, "My blessed daughter, you are right that your littleness feels itself being drowned under the immensity of my light, of my love, and of the innumerable truths that our adorable and holy being contains. But our power and immensity delights in filling the creature so much with light, with love, with manifold knowledges of ours, with sanctity, to the point of drowning her. It is one of the most beautiful scenes to see the creature as though drowned in our immensity, wanting to speak and being drowned with light, with love, with surprising truths. Oh, how beautiful it is that she wants to speak of what she feels, and our waves invest her and reduce her to silence. However, in this way, we make display of ourselves with our beloved creature, and we act like a teacher who wants to make display of his knowledge with his little disciple. He puts everything out of what he knows, and the disciple listens, fills his mind and heart. But since the things he told him have been so many, he is unable to repeat anything. However, this helps him to appreciate and love the teacher, and to look forward to the height that his knowledge can reach. While the disciple is under his direction, this helps the teacher to make himself known and earn his attention and fidelity. So we do, in order to make ourselves known and loved. When we see the creature empty of everything, wanting nothing else but our divine will, we so greatly delight, to the point of drowning her with light, with love, and with our truths that belong to us. And then we go on breaking down for her into small pieces, little by little, that which we have infused in her altogether. And in this way we also delight in adapting ourselves to her small capacity. Now, you must know that one who lives in the divine will, among the many prerogatives, will reacquire the gift of infused knowledge, a gift which shall be her guide, in order to know our divine being, facilitating for her the unfolding of the kingdom of the divine will in her soul. And it shall be her guide in the order of natural things. It shall be like the hand that guides her in everything, and shall manifest the life of the divine will palpitating in all created things, and the good it continuously offers to her. This gift was given to Adam in the beginning of his creation. Together with our divine will, he possessed the gift of infused knowledge in such a way that he knew our divine truths with clarity, and not only those, but all the beneficial virtues that all created things possessed for the good of the creature, from the largest thing down to tiniest blade of grass. Now, as he rejected our divine will by doing his own, our fiat withdrew its life, and the gift of which it had been the bearer. Therefore he remained in the dark, without the true and pure light of the knowledge of all things. So, as the life of my will returns into the creature, the gift of infused knowledge shall also return. This gift is inseparable from my divine will, just as the light is inseparable from the heat. And wherever it rains, it forms the eye full of light in the depth of the soul, who, looking with this divine eye, acquires the knowledge of God and of created things, as much as it is possible for a creature. Now, as my will withdraws, the eye remains blind, because the one who animated the sight has departed. That is, it is no longer operating life of the creature. It happens as to the body. As long as the eye is healthy, the creature can see, can distinguish colors, objects, and people. But if the pupil is darkened and loses the light, she remains blind. Therefore she can no longer distinguish anything. At the most, she shall help herself through the hearing, in order to know and comprehend something. But her light is extinguished and ended. She might have eyes, but no longer full of life of light, but of thick darkness, which is bearer of sorrow for the lost sight. Such is my will. Wherever it reigns, it centralizes in the soul this gift of infused knowledge, which more than I, sees and comprehends, but without effort, the divine truths, the most difficult knowledges of our Supreme Being, but with a marvelous ease, with no artifice, and with no study. More so, since no one can know the substance of natural things, the good that there is inside, but the one who created them. Therefore it is no wonder that our divine volition, in the soul in whom it reigns, makes itself the revealer of our divine being, and of the things that he himself created. While, if it does not reign, everything is darkness for the poor creature. Our children are blind, and do not know nor love the one who created them, who more than Father loves them, and longs for the love of his children. Wherever it reigns, my divine will does not go empty-handed, but brings all the goods it possesses. And if ungrateful, they force it to withdraw, it takes everything with itself, because it is inseparable from its goods. It acts like the sun. As it rises in the morning, it gives the gift of its light and of its beneficial effects to the earth. And as it withdraws in the evening, it takes all the light with itself. Nothing is left, not even one drop of light for the night. And why? Because it cannot, nor is it given to it, to detach a single particle of light. Because it is inseparable from its light, and wherever it goes, with the fullness of light that it possesses, it forms full daylight. Therefore be attentive, because there, where my will reigns, it wants to do great things. It wants to give everything, nor does it adapt to doing small things. But it wants to form full daylight, and make display of gifts, and with magnificence. Fiat. You have reached the end of the Book of Heaven, Volume 30, Part 13. Fiat.